right, you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. I went out today, and Australians are fucking done with the restrictions. They don't give a fuck anymore. It was like a normal day out there. People high-fiving. I bought a kebab. The guy who served me looked like the human embodiment of COVID-19. So I had that. It was a good kebab. No one gave a fuck. There was still a few Asians out there wearing face masks, but you can't tell. Is that pre-COVID or post-COVID? Asians gonna Asian. So it looks like they'll be lifting the restrictions next week. You'll be allowed to have up to 10 people in your own house now. And everyone will be fucking over the moon about that. And then police will barge in if you've got 12 and hold a fucking gun to your head. There's a $1,600 fine for every single one of you motherfuckers. And the people at the house party will be like, yeah, you're right. It was our fault. We should have only had 10 people here. You fucking weak dogs. After a few weeks of 10 people at venues, they'll be like, all right, you're allowed 20 now. And people will be like, oh my God, our government loves us so much. So much. Governments and politicians love us so much. And do you know what? I love them too. They didn't have to increase it to 20 people. But they care. They understand us. They'll give you 1 week of 20, and then every single fucking news channel on the television will fucking be like, outbreak, corona outbreak. 20 is much too much. We're going to go back down to 10, and we're going to stick with 10 for the foreseeable future until we get that mandatory fucking vaccine. And everyone will be like, look, we've got to save old people. I got told this today. How's this? Apparently, I think it's just in Australia, but it could be in the world. Apparently, the average age of someone who died of COVID-19 in Australia is higher than the average age of life expectancy. I didn't fact check that. I didn't want to fact check that. That's too fucking beautiful to be dismissed by facts. Facts like the entire population of the world was going to fucking die of COVID-19. Whose facts were they? I should have just stuck to my original analysis of COVID-19. It's fucking bullshit, and just ignore it. It'll end up like the swine flu. Just ignore it. But fuck, the media slammed this one. And now Australia will go into the longest, deepest, darkest depression we've ever seen for a few old cunts. The Australian government has spent almost $1 trillion. We're almost $1 trillion in debt. There's only 24 million Australians. A little bit of quick math, very simple math I did a little bit earlier, that's $42,000 per person. It just looks like pure insanity to me now. From the outside looking in, it's fucking nuts. They've completely taken away everyone's rights. Over 100 deaths in Australia, average age like 90, and a few fat fucks on cruise ships got a cough. And we're heading into a depression. So we gave away our rights, and we're going to have fuck all to show for it, besides a huge debt. I don't give a fuck what you say. They're never giving back your rights. Once they take them, they never give them back. It reminds me of this thing, Patrice O'Neill, a fucking great comedian. Look up Patrice O'Neill. Listen to some of his fucking comedy. He's the best. Probably the greatest of all time. I remember him saying once what Nike used to do when they released a new shoe. He's like, an old pair of Jordans would cost $100. And then the next year, when the new Jordans came out, Nike would jack them to $140 a pair. And everyone would be going, shit, man. Shit. Goddamn Jordans are motherfucking $140. And people would start going nuts about it. You'd get a whole bunch of people buying it at $140. Then after a month, Nike would readjust their price back to $120. And everyone will be like, fuck, man, Nikes have gone down. They've gone down to $120. Let's get them. And all the while, everyone had forgotten that Nikes used to be $100. They're just so fucking happy that they don't have to pay the $140. They're willing to accept the $120. And they can't even remember they used to be $100. And that's what they've done with our rights. They've just fucking wiped all of them. Clean slate. And now they're going to give you back 10 people per household. They're selling you Nikes for 120. Not even that, they're selling you Nikes for 138. And we are going to be fucking stoked with 138. Then a couple of people are going to be like, oi, didn't Jordans used to be 100? And the government's just going to be, Nike's been 100. Those days are long gone, my friend. You're lucky we're even giving you fucking Nikes. And the biggest problem is everyone's going to pat themselves on the back because they think they did the right thing. You know, we have no rights anymore. And we're at the very start of a generational depression. But you know what? Fucking Aussies, we stuck together and we did the right thing. We did the right thing by each other. Yeah, I'm going to have to slit your throat in a dark alley for spare change. But you know what, mate? The Australian spirit lives on. It's going to get dark. It's going to get fucking wild out there. It still hasn't started. It's not going to start for another 6 months. Actually, it's already started to get wild. Have you seen the fucking footage of the robot dog, one of those Boston Dynamics psycho fucking robot dogs, patrolling a park in Singapore, telling people to keep 1.5 meters away from each other? It robots its dog ass up to people, and then audio comes out and says, remember, stay 1.5 meters away from each other, protect each other from COVID, or some bullshit like that. I'm like, why do you need a fucking dog robot doing that? Can't you just have a fucking speaker? If you're thinking of a new career and you've got a little bit of a criminal bent towards you, I suggest learning how to fuck up robots. Invent some fucking thing that short circuits them or whatever. That's the future, baby. That is the future. All right, that's me done for tonight. Subscribe to the podcast for more uplifting, enjoyable content. Spread it around. Tell your friends. If they're walking around like fucking morons with a little smile and a spring in their step, say, listen to this fuckhead, and send them a link. All right. I'll see you the fuck later.